Welcome back to Havana Media. My name is Boniface Awino, and as usual, I'm going to be your host for today. Now, today I've been visited here by Dr. Joe, that is one of the founders of the CCM. He'll tell you more about CCM. He'll explain to you what the meaning of CCM, and a lot. We want to talk about a lot of things, and basically, I would like us to discuss this issue of the leadership. The way things are happening in the country right now is not the way people expected them to happen. I'll give him time. You know, we've been with him here several times, but this one is going to be a very different conversation concerning the happenings in the country. And Mr. Joe, welcome once again.
Yes.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Thank you very much.
Yes, karibu.
Thank you for inviting me here again.
Karibu.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. Joe, let us just go direct to our discussion because of time and all that. I remember last time when we were here, we had a conversation, and there is something that you mentioned, if I recall very well. You talked about the two options of a leader. Like, he can either resign or be impeached. Are you still holding that thing?
Now, thank you very much. I recall we talked about the situation in the country.
Yeah.
And you asked me whether it was time for the President Ruto to resign.
Yes.
And I recall I answered to you that resignation was the prerogative of the leader and not for us to tell him to resign. He should be able to check and see whether he is delivering to the citizens.
Correct.
And if he's not and he cannot, then he should resign. Now, so today you want to know whether I still hold the same position.
Yeah.
Boniface, that is true. I hold the position that from that time to what has transpired now up to date, the president should resign. Because he has been unable to regain the legitimacy of the people, and he has also been unable to deliver to the people. Why do you say this? We have looked at the president going for meetings. The latest was a church meeting in Embu and other meetings. And what we hear from the people is mwizi, mwizi, mwizi. That is what Kenyans are saying. It is very unfortunate that you can remain in office when the people are saying, we do not trust you and we have no faith in you, and they go to the extent of calling you mwizi or a thief everywhere you go. In my view, and the view of many of the governance advocates, including the Concerned Citizens Movement, the president should resign. The people have no more faith in him. He has completely lost the legitimacy of the people. And we tried in the past to give indicators of what he could do to regain the legitimacy of the people, but we haven't seen any move towards that.
It was given severally.
Yeah. The abductions have continued. Police brutality has continued. And we are not seeing any change. So I am no longer in that position. My position now, in the position of Concerned Citizens Movement, is that the president should resign and let somebody else lead the nation. Yep.
So he was given, when this narrative at least cooled down, he was given chance maybe that if at all maybe he could try as much as he can to reconsider the things that people wanted, but he has failed to do them.
Correct.
So right now there is nothing that can be done. Now, I wanted to tell us this, Mr. Joe. We have got three bodies in the country, like in the government. Let me not. It's not like, okay, in the country. Let me say in the country, we have got the parliament, we have got the Senate, and the judiciary.
Correct.
Now, during the impeachment or the process of impeachment of a leader, let's say for instance, what happened with the deputy president. His case first was taken to a member of parliament, took it to the parliament.
Correct.
And then that is where now the motion was tabled. they wanted to know more, like, okay, what if we want to impeach this person, what needs to be done? So they discussed, it was debated there, and then after that it was taken back to the people, the public participation. So after they were done with that, it was after they had voted, it was taken now to the Senate.
Correct.
Now after the Senate, I remember now after presenting it to the Senate, that is where now the issue of whether it's supposed to be impeached or not came in. And I don't want to talk about, like we're talking about Gachagua, but I want to give that example because that is now what a lot of people have witnessed. Gachagua was impeached. Not like the statement, like the senators voted for his impeachment, and they said that it's okay, he can be impeached. So the process is the process that I want to bring in is when a leader wants the leader to be impeached, his case is taken to the parliament. A member of parliament drives the motion. And then after that, it's taken to the senators. So after the senators, now it's taken to the judiciary. So my question is, why is it that now this issue is so much difficult for a member of parliament or for members of parliament to do? Because the things that they are doing with the expectation of Kenyans is different.
Excuse me. Now, that procedure is that procedure is correct. But the taking to the judiciary is taken to the judiciary for swearing in. Now, once the new, like in the case of a deputy president, once the deputy president is nominated and approved, then it goes to the judiciary. It goes back to the executive for appointment, and then goes to the judiciary for swearing in. But if the judiciary, if the person being impeached is not happy with the impeachment outcome, then they can file an appeal in the judiciary. Yeah. And you recall that is what the deputy president did. Yeah. And we don't talk about that. It's a case that is still in court. So now the question is, you are wondering, why is it difficult to impeach the president?
Yeah, exactly.
All Kenyans know that Parliament is no longer working for Kenyans. Parliament is working for the executive. It is working for the president. It is completely captured by the president. And therefore, with that kind of capture, it is very difficult or not possible for the members of Parliament to debate a motion on the impeachment of the president. That is the main impediment. The members of Parliament are supposed to represent the citizens and not the executive. Because the three arms of government are independent and they make decisions for the benefit of the people. So in our case, our Parliament is captured by the executive, and therefore it is not willing to do an impeachment against the president. Yeah.
And Mr. Joe, if I remember very well, there is one of the members of Parliament who said that he's going to table the motion of the impeachment of the president.
Would you be talking of this guy from Western?
Caleb Amisi.
Yes, yeah, he said that last week, I think.
He said that. Yeah. Yes. So so my question is, do you think is going to happen? Is going to do it based on when we all witnessed what happened with Mutuse?
Yes.
During the questioning. So do you think he's going to do that? And if he's going to do that, will the parliament support him?
Now, I'm a little bit skeptical. That is my opinion. The way Caleb Amisi talked about it, he didn't talk like he was serious. To me, he looks like somebody who was fishing and trying to see what is the reaction that might come from the people. But giving him the benefit of doubt, that is exactly what a member of parliament who is thinking about good governance in this country should do. We should have a member of parliament who goes and takes the motion of impeachment to parliament. As I said, Caleb Amisi is a member of parliament, and therefore I will give him the benefit of doubt and say that he has put that statement in the public domain because it was all in the media. And therefore, we are waiting. We will take him to challenge him to his word. We are looking forward to seeing him doing the impeachment motion, and we are waiting. So Caleb Amisi should go ahead and do the motion and take it to Parliament. Then we see Parliament debating the motion. Yes.
Mr. Joe, there are a lot of things that this Parliament of ours, the Parliament has really failed us lots of times. Do you think that we can say that we have hopes with the current Parliament, members of Parliament that we have? Like, okay, starting from the Speaker himself now with the Deputy and all that, and then the members of Parliament. Do you think we as Kenyans can be very happy by saying that we have a very serious and a very productive Parliament?
The Parliament we have, as we have said before, has failed the citizens. One of the things you see is that they are making very many laws, but they are not even oversighting the implementation of the existing laws. So the other thing is, everything that is pushed, things that are pushed by the president, they are passing them. And we keep saying Parliament is captured. You remember the issue of the finance bill. Even when they passed it and it was taken to the president and the president declined, they clapped. And we have said that was the hate of it was the hate of the unlikely, because you would expect that if you do something for me, you ask me to do something, I do it, I give it back to you, you reject it. I should not be clapping you for you. I should be asking you, where did I go wrong?
What did I do?
Yeah. So we find that our Parliament is not able to serve the people because of that capture by the executive. And this is where, as Concerned Citizens Movement, CCM, we have come forward and proposed an amendment of the law at Article 145, where we want the public to be able to recall the president and deputy president and any other leader when they don't serve the citizens at any point of their tenure. We stop waiting for 5 years, because within the 5 years, a leader will do what he wants, and then after that, he's hounded out of office through the elections, and Kenyans we are still going down. So we need to have that amendment, and we are still on it. We're still working on it, and Kenyans, we are still working on the amendment, and we will come to you for the 1 million signatures that we require. In the meantime, Parliament can and should impeach the president, because he has failed to deliver to the people, and he is just running the country down. Now, one of the questions, when I say that, one of the questions people ask me is, what has the president failed to do? I don't need to belabor this, Kenyans, but we all know the president has failed to provide security to the Kenyans against our own security organs. We have seen abductions which continue by people who we believe are police officers, but who the director of DCI tells us that they are not policemen.
They're not policemen.
Now, I would like to say this. The director of DCI is not supposed to be telling us what is not. He is supposed to be telling us what is. That means he's not supposed to be telling us it is not the police who are doing this. He is supposed to be telling us it is this group of people who are doing this, because we do not employ him to give us negative possibilities. We employ him to give us the state of security as it is. So when a crime occurs, he's not supposed to tell us who did not do it. He is supposed to tell us who did it. And then what is he doing about it? That he has taken the person to court, and now the prosecution process is going on. That is what we expect from the director of DCI, but not to come and tell us that this is not being done by the police. No, he should tell us who is doing it. Otherwise, he should also resign. because then he's not able to do his job.
And
that is one. Let's look at those particular issues.
Yes, okay.
So one, then the president has also come forward and told us that he does not control the police. But immediately he said that, he went ahead and appointed the Director General of Police, Inspector General of Police. So the question is, how do you appoint an officer that you do not supervise? I mean, how does it work? These are some of the things that we are looking at and saying, the president is not being sincere to Kenyans. No, because if the police are not under the supervision of the president, then we have no security. And yet, he is the person who took the constitution and swore to protect the rights, safety, and security of every citizen in this country.
That's true.
So those are bases of impeachment. They are points of impeachment. Then the other thing is, everybody knows the president has been lying to us all the time. He lies to us, the economy is flourishing. Yet, we are the people who are working on the economy. It is biting very hard. And Kenyans know. Kenyans know that the economy is not good. But the president tells us the economy is doing very well. That means the economy is only doing well in his pocket, but not our pockets. Now, we need to be able to hear something from the president, and we believe in it even without proving it right. So we need a president we can trust. We are not able to trust our president right now. And those are areas of impeachment. Then the other thing is the public service appears to be completely dysfunctional. We have seen the chief, we have seen the SHA. We are seeing people, it's disheartening. When you listen to people speaking, people suffering, they have paid money, but they cannot get services from the healthcare system. We had a healthcare system where NHIF, which was working. When you are changing a system, you don't change it overnight. You gradually change the system.
Because it takes time.
Yes. And there has to be a good reason why you're changing the system. In most cases, we just modify. But now this was changed, and Kenyans have nowhere to get public health care. So with all these things, are we going to see any upturn of the economy? No. If the economy doesn't have an upturn, then all we have are cries from citizens. So it is possible that Parliament can impeach the president. And one of the things we have seen from the DP impeachment, that Parliament can work if it decides to work. Never mind if it was pushed to work. But it can work. So I call upon all Kenyans, really, to put pressure on their members of Parliament to be able to write that motion and do the impeachment. But hopefully, the president may change before that comes. That would be good for him, and it would be good for the nation. But as we are doing, the way we are going now, he should be impeached. And Parliament is up to that task, but it needs a lot of pressure from citizens.
And you just talked about president changing. Do you think at this point, even if he decides maybe to change, do things the right way, do you think it will have a positive impact on Kenyans because based on the mindset that they already have concerning the president and his regime?
The people who are led by a leader are usually very tolerant and they are very understanding. I honestly believe that if that change came and it was tangible, Kenyans would go back and say, let's wait until 2027. Again, Kenyans have been very considerate people. And when you see Kenyans coming up and saying, we are now fed up, know that you have really pushed them to the wall. So I believe that that could be possible if it happened. I don't see movement towards that direction. And the reason why I say this is because the other day, last week, the bishops, the Catholic bishops, came out and called out the president and said, you are driving this country down. And that is something that all of us are seeing. And by the time I stopped checking, there were 17 responses to that press statement from government agencies and government agents like MPs. One of the MPs, Oscar Sudi,
yeah,
tried to push this towards a tribal angle. And that is pathetic. That should not be happening. It shows that the president and his team did not see the gravity of the statement by the Catholic bishops. And the Catholic bishops were honestly expressing what every Kenyan is saying, that we cannot continue like this. So it appears a very deliberate move to drive down the country, or an inability, lack of capacity to lead. And when that happens, both of them end up in impeachment. And that is why the impeachment goes. And that is why the members of parliament should go ahead and do the impeachment of the president.
There is one thing I understand with the churches, or with the church as a whole, is that the moment you start attacking church, that is where now your problems begins. Because okay, according to me, I don't know how you'll take it, or maybe I don't know how you'll bring it so that Kenyans understand, or anybody that is watching this understands. But one thing I understand is that church is okay. It's a religion. It stands for morals.
Correct.
Yeah, it also stands for let me just say good morals. Generally, good morals will generalize everything.
Yeah.
So any moment there is something that is not going on right, like in the county or in a nation, the church has got that power to stand and correct it. But now this one of ours is quite different. Why is it that now ours is different from the way maybe people see, or from the way people expect it to happen? Because church says that what you've been doing is not right. You're supposed to go this direction, because this is the way people want to be led, or this is the best way to do it. And then you find that you're coming and telling Kenyans, or you're telling not even Kenyans, but now you're telling the people that are correcting you, which is their right to correct, that you should consider while correcting someone, because sometimes you might accuse somebody for the things he did not do. Yet we know very well that what church said is right. So do you think there is something that William Ruto needs to understand, or the government needs to understand generally concerning the church?
Yeah. Now, the president, William Ruto, needs to understand that the church is a form of government. Because if you look at what is a government is an organization that is created by people to represent them in their development, or rather in their social matters, socio-economic matters. Now, for the church, it is about faith, the spiritual faith. And a government does not have resources of its own. Governments derive resources from the people, or the resources in the environment that have been decided by the people as to belong to government.
Correct.
Now, if you look at the church, I think for the administrative government, it is simply about taxation and in a privileged facilities or assets. Like where the government owns forests, then is going to sell the wood to entrepreneurs, but the money is collected on behalf of the citizens. Then the other one is taxation, or everything including permits and licenses. All of it you can lump it up as taxation. So all this money comes from the people. The government does not have any money of its own. The government does not have any power of its own, because the power is bestowed upon the government by the people. And therefore, the people should be able to withdraw power from the government by withdrawing power from the people they have put in place who are not serving them. Now come to the church. Again, the bishops are elected by the people. the church leaders are elected by the people. And they get their resources from the people through another form of taxation that comes in forms of donations to the church, or to whatever faith it is, tithes, and offerings. Yeah. Then there is also the fundraisings. All that are donations from the people. So the church also does not have its own resources. And again, it is also bestowed by the people on the basis of power that is, a power that is obtained from the spiritual teachings. That is, everyone will tell you that they have a God.
Correct.
And so, if you come to the Christian faith, it is about the Bible. That is the constitution of the Catholic faith. And therefore, that is the constitution that drives the Christian government.
Yeah,
right?
True, yeah.
Now, these same people who are in the church are the same people who are in the country, and therefore they are the ones who have formed the administrative government of the country. Therefore, it is, as a president, I would be very worried if the church leaders started telling me that you are not doing the right things. Because what it means is that this is coming directly from the people.
Yeah.
The people have tried to tell you. The church leaders did not want to come in earlier because they thought you would listen to the people. To the people.
Yeah.
But when now he has failed to listen to the people, the church leaders who represent the people in spiritual faith come in now and tell him, no, you are hurting our people. That is not a good position. And I noticed after the initial very harsh reaction to the church leaders, I noticed yesterday that the president was sort of working to be reconciliatory with the church.
Yeah, with the church, yeah.
But you see, he has to come forward. It is not about the church. It is about the people. So he had better reconcile with the people of Kenya and not the church leaders. So giving the church leaders 5 million shillings does not reconcile him with the people. So he needs to understand that whatever is happening in the church is not about the church. It's about the citizens of the Republic of Kenya who have given him the mandate to lead them as their president. That is the relationship.
So, in other words, what the church did is one of the only way that they could have done it, by correcting that this is not right.
In my view.
In your view.
In my view. We know the church leaders have gone to, some church leaders have gone to the president before, and they have expressed the dissatisfaction of the people. So when you tell somebody in confidence and they do not amend, then it is time for you to call them out in public. So in my view, the church leaders did exactly what they were expected to do. Yes.
And I had the former DP yesterday saying that church leaders knows what people want more than the government or more than anybody else, which is right. And we've just mentioned something here that they understand. These church leaders understands people more than the government, because they are with the people like every Sunday. So they act as they can represent people better, in a better way. So my question is it really worthy for people like Oscar Sudi, Boss Sholei, to attack? I think you heard what Boss Sholei say, that the church leaders are more close to the State House more than even them, the members of parliament. I don't know whether that one is right or wrong. You'll tell us that. She said that if there is a way that the government or the church can correct the government, the president, is by going to the State House. Yet we know very well that there are people who are at the State House, like preachers, pastors, who right now are in the government. Let's say, for instance, somebody like Bishop Margaret. Let me just mention, Bishop Margaret right now is in the government, serving as the chairperson of Nairobi Rivers.
Correct.
Yeah. So what if they go there and then things are turned down, maybe the brown envelope talks, and then the story changes. Who will stand and protect Kenyans? Like, who will stand and protect believers who send the preachers to the government?
Yeah, okay. Now, you know, there's one thing I don't agree with people.
Yeah.
When they claim that church leaders are closer to the people than the government, I do not agree.
Yeah.
I understand governance, and I've worked with government. And I still continue working with the government when I have issues to work with the government. What I know is that the government is with the people every minute. The church leaders are with the people on prayer days.
Prayer days, yeah.
Do not be cheated by anybody that the church leaders know better about the people than the government. Because you go down all the way from Nyumba Kumi, go up to the president.
Yeah, true.
That is the track of the executive branch. Therefore, it is not that the president does not know what is happening with the people, but he's not doing anything about it. And if he is not aware, then he's having the wrong people in office.
Who are misleading him.
I don't agree with that because the president watches the news. The president drives around and sees how people are suffering.
That's true.
So if he's told that people are doing well, then he should be asking questions. You see, there's one misconception that the leader is misadvised. That is not true.
Misadvised by who?
A leader is supposed to have, first of all, a mind of his or her own. And he or she knows what she wants for the people he or she leads before anybody comes to advise. So, what is the position of the president on the suffering of Kenyans? We are seeing people are not able to go to school. People are not able to go to hospital. They are not being served. People are being brutalized by the police. Does the president need somebody to advise him on that? That it is not good? He doesn't. So as a leader, one should always give their requirement first. What do I want to see? What do I want to lead my people to?
Correct.
And then from there, the next thing is, what does the law say? And the third thing is, are you people doing what the law says? So whenever you want to take action, you should always go back to the law. And that is why we told the president some time back that there are three documents that he has that constitute the governance manual, the leadership and governance manual. That is the Constitution, which is the supreme law. Then there is the laws of Kenya, and then there is government policy. If we check his actions against those three documents or the leadership and governance manual, they fall short. He falls short of the requirements of the leadership manual. So I do not agree on the issue of that a leader has been misadvised. There may be some misadvice here and there, but not to the extent of how we are seeing things going. So when we come back to the government knows and should know what Kenyans are thinking more than the church. Now, the other point is the government has three arms. It has the judiciary. It has the executive. It has the parliament, the legislature. The legislature is Senate, Parliament, county assemblies.
Yeah.
And then it has the judiciary. All these arms of government, they listen to the people. They're not equal to the church. And they listen to the people on a daily and minute by minute basis.
Yeah.
So there is no way the church can be knowing the people more than the church. I mean, more than government.
Yeah.
The government knows the people more than the church. Now, we are seeing a situation where the government is not providing people with services, and it expects others to provide services.
True.
You go to some of these donor meetings, and you hear government servants, that is public servants, enumerating to the donors how much they want them to do. And my question whenever I attend those meetings or when I'm participating in those meetings is, what is the government doing? We got our independence 60 years ago. And we are still looking upon and calling upon our colonizers to come and assist us. Why did we kick them in the first place? We should have let them stay.
They should have just said.
Why did we kick them out? But when you come to look at it, our money is being stolen by our own people, our own leaders. Sure. Our resources are being vandalized by our own people. But we expect the foreigners who we kicked out 60 years ago to come back and run our country. We have to be serious. So now there are people who are pushing it to the church, that the church should be taking over, oversighting government. The role, the mandate of oversighting government belongs to the legislature. So the church is stepping in because it sees that the legislature has been captured by the executive, and therefore it has to come in and help the people. So basically what we are doing, we are actually creating a conflict between the church and the government, and it will flow over to the people. That is why we again call upon Parliament to come up with an impeachment motion, impeach the president. Let us get a president who can listen to the people and deliver to the people. So I do not agree that the government knows the people less than the church. Or put it other way, that the church knows the people more than government. No, the government has slept completely on the job and covered its head. Yeah.
So this narrative of the church knows people more than the government should stop.
It should stop. It is not accurate. Yes.
So I have another question to ask you, Mr. Joe. If the government just decides today to stand firm and do what is right, you've said that they might be given another chance by the people, but not that 100%. They'll not be trusted by the people.
Deal with, not the president.
Not the president.
Yes.
So in other words, Mr. Joe is trying to say that but the issues that we have in this country are caused by the bad governance that are being led by our president himself, together with his colleagues. And until that one is fixed, we'll still have very many problems in this country. After all, guys, that is all we have for today. And until we meet again in the next video, if it is possible, I have been your host, Boniface Owino. Mr. Joe, thanks so much.
Thank you very much, Bonnie.
Thank you for showing up.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay.